Hello and welcome to my guide on how to use the Special Spell Timers plugin for ACT. This guide already assumes that you have ACT properly installed and that it already works. Special Spell Timers is a plugin that allows you to visualize specific skills or abilities being used or that are currently in effect. I'm going to demonstrate one of them. In this case, this guide was specifically done for my static, and we want to better align our damage buffs, our raid buffs. And for that, the best way to do that is either to say so over voice chat or to see it on screen. So I'm going to enable one of them just as a demonstration, and then I'm going to activate a raid buff. First, I need to activate it on this client. Okay, it works. Now I'm entering combat and I'm activating a raid buff. And then it would look like this. And then it says the technical finish buff is up and for how long. This plugin is very customizable. You can change everything about this, how it looks, where it is, what the color is, everything about it. You can even add sounds if you want to at any point, and once it's over it disappears. And it does the same for every single raid buff. I can actually show you what it looks like. For example, if I activate all of it, just in order for the edit mode, it would look something like this. These are all the buffs. And you can have up to 6 of them in any 8-man party. And that's why I position it specifically here, because exactly 6 fit here until my hotbar starts. Okay, let's turn this off. So first I'm going to show you how to install the plugin. So first thing, come on, okay. So the first thing is you go to Google and you type in Hojoring. That is what the overall plugin is called. And something like Final Fantasy XIV. And then the very first one, although the second one is actually better, but I'm going to show the first one, the Hojoring on GitHub. GitHub is a website that allows developers and programmers to easily share their scripts, their products, and so on. So this is the Hojoring. Don't be afraid of all these Japanese text, because you can set it to English. So we go to releases, and we have a couple of options here. But the one we are interested in is the, where is it? This one here, the top one, not the zip. That's the one I personally downloaded at first, and that's the wrong one. You want to download this top one here. Save it. And once it's saved, it will look something like this. You will also need a program that can open a .7z file. And on the inside, it will look like this. So this is the plugin. You go to your ACT. So this is my ACT folder here, the Advanced Combat Tracker. What I did, I made a folder called Hojoring here, opened it, and then copy pasted everything from here into this folder. And there is one more thing you have to do in order to set up the plugin, because when you download the plugin, it comes without any icons, at least without most of the ones you might need. So what I did, I took all the icons I had and put them up online so anyone can download them. The download link will be in the description down below. It's a Dropbox download link, and when you open it, the website that opens will look like this. These are all my icons, and what you need to do is on the top right, press on download and then direct download, the first option here. And then it will start downloading a zip file with all the contents inside this folder. When the download is complete, it will look like this here, this file. And you can open it, and here are all my icons. So what you do with this here is you go into your Hojoring here. This is what you've downloaded just now. Then you go into resources, and here's the folder called icon. You open it, and yours will be only like 4 folders and almost no icons. So what you do is you take what you downloaded from my Dropbox, you take all of this, and then you copy paste it over into this folder. And when it asks you what to do with stuff that's already in there, you just say skip that, because it's already in there. And then your icon folder will look like this. Once it does, you need to restart your ACT. And when you restart it, then all these icons will show up inside of Hojoring, and you can use them. Without what you just did, you only have like a couple icons and nothing more, and obviously you want to have all the important ones. Once you have done that, you can close it, and then you go to your ACT. Your ACT will look something like this at this point. Once you do, you go to plugins, and here you browse, this button here, browse, open the Hojoring folder, and here you activate the ACT special spell timer.dll. You open it, and then you click add enable plugin. When you have done that, this tab will appear. It's called SPE. You can click it, and the first thing you probably want to do is you go to options, language, and set it to English here. Once you've done that, we can now start at making our own overlay. I will post the overlays I am personally using to Pastebin, and you can simply import them. But this guide will explain how to make your own and how to customize them. So what you do is you go to triggers, and then you go and you will start on this tab, and you go to the second one. That's the tab you want. And then what you can do is this, they will have a couple of example spells in there. They're not interesting to us. What we do is we say, look, I want a new spell panel. That is basically a folder for other spells. For example, you can make a spell panel called White Mage and have all the White Mage spells you want on your overlay inside of it. And this way you can also deactivate the entire folder with one single button click. So create a new spell panel, call it whatever you want. For example, you call it Dancer. And there it is, it's called Dancer. And now I right click Dancer and say create new spell this time. This spell, I click on it, and now I have all these options here. And the important ones are, first, you want the spell name. So for example, I want a spell name called, I don't know, what are these, oops. So what are these skills called here? I want a spell called Cascade. So I'm going to go here, Cascade, like this. So now it's called Cascade, and this is also what will show as the word on the overlay itself. So in my demonstration, you saw the technical finish name. That's because it was also the spell name. This option here, when being different in a spell name indication text, I become an instance. What that does is when you put, for example, as a White Mage, you put regen on one tank, and then region on the other tank, instead of showing a single option of the overlays, it will show both of them. It will show region 1 has this much time left, region 2 has this much time left. Although you have only programmed a single spell, it will show it twice, because every time it's used, it makes a new instance of itself. Okay, priority of display, it's obviously for in the list where it's being shown if you want to do that. Now, here's the next one that's super important, the keyword to show. What this does is it decides when to actually activate the plugin for the overlay that we are programming here right now. For example, it can track that you've used technical finish right now, and then it activates the plugin. In order to do that, we need to somehow enable it to see that. How do we do that? It's actually simple. I'm going to show it to you. So ACT is working, of course. So what we do is we go to ACT, we go to main. These are all your fights here. Right click on the fight you want. In this case, it doesn't matter, but if it's a boss mechanic, then it will. But in this case, I choose just a striking dummy because it has what I want. View logs. This window will open. This is a glorious mess of absolutely everything that has happened in that fight. But what we are looking for is technical finish. And then we click on search as text, 7 results, and then we click on only show search results right here. So every line that has technical finish inside of it will be shown. So the one that's interesting here is this line here. You use quadruple technical finish. That's the line that is almost always the one you're looking for. For example, the boss uses that skill. The Dragoon uses Battle Litany, and so on. It's the line with the use or uses in it. So what you can do is copy selection. I've clicked on this. Now this line selected. We can copy the selection, close it, and go back to here. Now we paste it into the keyword to show. And then we remove all the unnecessary bits, and all that's left is you use quadruple technical finish. I can remove the dot too, and then I click on use regex. What that does is, regex is short for regular expressions, and it is a basically language unto itself on how to write symbols next to each other in order to detect specific strings. And you can do many crazy things with it, but that's not what we need right now. What we need is it to be able to detect quadruple technical finish if anyone in the party uses it. So the trick is this. We put that in brackets because the brackets allow us to say this or this. So in this case we say player character or you, like this. And then on the end of use, we also write this here. And the reason we do that is because if someone else uses a skill, the word will say uses. But if you use it, then the word will say use. So there's a difference, and it needs to know that it's interested in both. So this here will detect any usage of quadruple technical finish if it's inside of your ACT log. So right now, if we compare this to, for example, what I have over here, it looks almost the same. I made one mistake. You want this to stay big, like this. Okay. And now it says the exact same. So this line tells the program that if the in the combat log, there's a line that contains someone uses quadruple technical finish or you used quadruple technical finish, this triggers. That's what this line does. So now the recast time is how long the countdown timer on the overlay is. For example, if you want a overlay that tells you, okay, you have this much time left until you can use the skill again, then the recast time has to be the same as on the skill. For example, quadruple technical finish has a cooldown of 120 seconds. So if you want that to trigger, the recast time has to be 120. But if you want the duration of your buff to be the countdown, then the duration of technical finish is 20 seconds. So we said 20 seconds because that's the duration of the buff itself. And that's the only thing that we're interested in. This is unimportant right now. What this does here, a keyword to extend, is, for example, you can reduce the cooldown of certain skills with actions. For example, you can reduce the cooldown of Infuriate on the warrior by using Felcleave. And you can use this to track it. You can write the keyword that looks exactly like this line, and whenever this happens, whenever it's, for example, Felcleave happens, you can say -5 seconds in this bracket, and then it will work. I think I actually made this at one point in the past. Infuriate, there it is. There it is. That's the example. You use Felcleave or Decimate or Nerbeast or Steel Cyclone, -5 seconds. That's how it works. So let's go back to our cascade, even though it shouldn't be called that since we are working on technical finish. Test. There we go. Now we go down here. So what other options we have here is here how many seconds are left on the countdown timer to change the text to the warning color. So for example, you're a ninja, but you're training ninja, you're not very good at it yet. What you can do is, when I have only 10 or 15 seconds left until Trick Attack comes off cooldown, I want the symbol and the text to start blinking at me and glowing red. Right? You can do that with this option. So I also make use of it in an example I want to show off later. As an example, in the technical finish, if there is only 5 seconds left on the buff, then what I want to happen is that the buff will start glowing red. So I know, not that I know, but so it grabs my attention that the buff is running out, just as an example. So if what I said here is, if the countdown timer that is left is less than 5 seconds left, less than 5 seconds left, then change the font to the warning color. And then when I have like also 5 seconds left, then blink icon and blink the progress bar. So now we're gonna change the visuals. We go to visual, and now you can also see what it would look like. It would currently look like this. So what you can do is, for testing purposes, you can disable click through, and now you can move it around with your mouse. So we can put it here. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the visuals that we like. Okay, so for example, we can change the font to whatever you want, like this one, for example. Oh yeah, and then we can go, what about the font size? Can I make it bigger? Because why not? Oh god, that's way too big. Oh, because it's 150, oops. 15, there we go. Nice and edgy. Fill color, that's the background. Instead of white, I want something darker. Sure. Oh no, that's the fill color of the text. Whoops, my bad. Fill color of the text can stay white for now. That's fine. Stroke color, I believe, is the outside of the text. Green. See, yeah, it's the outside of the text. Let's make the stroke color red. Or purple. Let's make it purple. Come on. You can barely see it, but it's purple now. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is I want an icon, and the icon I want to set is the technical step. There it is. It shows the technical step. And now do I want to hide it? No. Do I want to overlap the recast time so it's on the symbol? No, because instead of ready, when the overlay is running, it will be the time that you look at. So what you can do with this option is to have the time on the symbol itself and make the symbol big, remove the text, and then just have the symbol and the time directly on it. I will show that too. So, but currently I just want to leave it vanilla. Center this in the space that's left. No, that's not necessary. Yeah, please show it. Hide recast time. No. Always show even when completed. No. Only show it when it's running. Warning fill color. So what it will look like when the warning has triggered that you have set. Let's just say it's red. If the warning has triggered when the time is below the time you set already. So what we're gonna do is just set this to red and this to beige because we can. Sure, whatever, doesn't matter. And then you have the option, if it is a cooldown you're tracking, then you want the bar to fill up slowly until you can use it. But if it's a buff that's running out, then you want the bar to slowly get consumed. So what we can do on the progress bar is to reverse the direction. So it starts empty, as you can see here. When the buff is used, it fills up and then empties slowly again. So we want to leave this, and you can change the color of the progress bar itself, but I don't really care about that. Now here's the background that I was looking for. Let's make it indigo, but with like halfway see-through. And then we'll look like this. Maybe let's make it indigo, but less opaque. There we go. That's what it looks like now. And you can change that, of course, everything about it. That includes size, position, and everything I've showed just now. When you enable click-through, you can no longer drag it around. And click-through is also important in the middle of combat, because even in the middle of combat, if click-through is not enabled, you can still drag it around by accident. So click-through is a good option. It's down here. So now we want to test this. First, we need this to be enabled, so the tick mark has to be here. Then I'm gonna click on something different. Now it disappears. And the reason it disappears is because we haven't ticked always show. It only shows when it's triggered. If you want it to always show when it's active, or when the overlay itself is listening, then you need to tick this. Then it's always on. But we can untick it, and it only turns on when it's actually activated. Okay, so now I'm gonna test it, and we can remove the lines. That's the guide grid. Let's remove them. And now we're going into combat. And now I'm activating the buff. And there it is. 20 seconds and counting down. The same one as this one here. And obviously this would also work if I'm someone else and the dancer's just in my party. We're both in combat and the dancer uses this ability. This will also appear. That's the point of this. Okay, so I've shown you the basics of how to use this. Now I'm going to show you what I have made for myself. So you can remove this dancer here. Yep. So now the ones I've made that I want to show off are the raid buffs and the buffs active. The buffs active is what I've just shown you how to make, but all 9 buffs that exist. So I'm going to activate them and then click on this button in order to show the edit mode. So this is what it looks like. It's basically the same thing. Works on everything. Let's go to technical finish, for example. The same thing that I showed off. 20 seconds is the duration. Trick attacks, 10 seconds duration. If anyone uses trick attack, Brotherhood, Battle Voice, Battle Litany, same thing. at every point. And please don't turn off that. Thank you. What I will do is I have this overlay that I'm using, that I'm showing off right now, and the one I'm gonna show off next. I have those exported to paste bin. So all you have to do in order to import it is to right click and press import. That's all you have to do. You import, and then you have to select the file. So what I'm gonna do is below this YouTube video, in the what's the word in English? In the description below the video, I will have both links, and what they will look like once you open them. Come on. Oh, that's because this is open. Whoops, my bad. And could you please disable this too? Okay, now it works. So what it will look like is something like this. Yeah. You have this paste bin here, and what you have to do is you have to mark everything that's inside this paste bin, right? I don't know if there's an easy way to do this, probably through one of these buttons, but you have to copy everything that's inside here from start to this finish to here, then open your program called an editor, paste it into here, and then when you press save, what you have to do is you have to call it something. It doesn't matter what. For example, rate buffs, and then you have to press .xml. That's important. And then in the file type, you have to select all files. You have to do it like this. Then you save it on the desktop or somewhere. And once you have done that, you can press here into import, find the file here and click open. And it will instantly import everything. So these buffs I've already shown off what they do. Now the other one I want to show off is called the rate buffs. At least I called them rate buffs. Here they are. That's what they look like. And the first overlay that I showed you is specifically designed to help you keep track of what buffs are currently running. This overlay is designed to help you track when they're coming off cooldown. So the progress bar isn't 20 seconds for technical finish, it's 120 seconds because it comes off cooldown after 2 minutes. So I'm gonna turn off the buffs active and keep the rate buffs on as they are now. And now I'm gonna go into combat like this, and then I'm gonna activate the technical finish here. There it is, and boom! This went on cooldown. And what I also did, that was my personal touch. While it's running, the number is white, and when the buff runs out, the number turns red. So it looks like this ready symbol right here, and it wants to keep me out. Okay, to lock me out. So the moment the buff went away, it's now red. You can obviously change it to any color you want. I've shown you how to change the warning color. This is what it looks like, and it will work on everything. For example, I can show you the trick attack real quick. Although I don't want to show you trick attack because I also have other plugins that help me track it that have nothing to do with spell timers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go Scholar. There it is. I will go into combat. There we go, I'm in combat, and now I will press change stratagem, and that's what it looks like. Same as technical finish, same as all the others. While the number's white, the buff's running, and the moment the buff runs out, it will turn red. Boom, buff's out. Wonderful. And when the progress bar is full and the number goes to 0, the cooldown is gone and can be used again, and it helps you track it. So this one I will call rate buffs, The first one I will call active raid buffs, and the second one I will call just raid buffs or cooldown raid buffs. And they will be two separate paste bins that you can import in order to use them. So I've shown you both my options, both my overlays, and how to use them. And you can use them not just for raid buffs, you can use them to keep track of your own rotation, for example. As a black mage, you can put in, I don't know, ley lines, for example, or you can keep track of a proc, for example. When you get the thunder proc, what happens is that in the logs of in your combat logs of ACT, there will be a line. You now suffer under the effect of whatever it's called, the thunder proc, and you can also track it in your special spell timers. And this way, when it happens, it's like you can make a huge picture in the middle of your screen. The proc has happened. Now click it. It's just as an example. You can do that. And if there's any questions, put it in the description below, and hopefully I will answer it soon. I'll make a second guide. However, my second guide won't be on special spell timers. My second guide will be on the Cactbot raid boss. And the reason why is because I've learned how to make my own triggers, and I want to show it off and teach others how to do it themselves. For me personally, it was really simple to learn, but I'm a programmer by trade, so I will make the guide as clear as I can. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.